I hope everybody's having an awesome day. My day is awesome. I'm very happy happy MLK Day to Miss Inherit. Hey, Naturally Trees, my beautiful daughter. I love my daughter. My daughter's here. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so nervous now. My baby done came into the live stream. Let's see. Am I going to London in 2017? Yes, we're going to London. I cannot wait to go to London. I was actually talking this weekend. I was talking to Zaza Ali, and I saw Minister Farrakhan this weekend. And Zaza was talking about London and the amazing people in London. And so, yes, we're going to London, and I might even ask if some people like Zaza can join us because it seems to me that there's so many strong black people in London that we should also, as Americans, we should do what we can to support them in their struggle. Because when you connect globally as black people, that's a great way to fight white supremacy. Every black person in America, in my opinion, should educate themselves on what's happening with black people around the world and not just black people around the corner. Because what that does is that gives you a lot of options. It gives you a lot of options to escape some of the coonery that's out here. Because you got a lot of leadership in America, a lot of public figures in America, a lot of very prominent black people, in this country who are just lost, who are just, brains just zooped and zapped and gone and just they working for white folks. It's crazy to me. It's crazy, but it's designed that way. The system's designed that way. And what's unfortunate is that many of the Negroes that are most committed to white supremacy are the most educated. I'm gonna tell you, when I think about the future and I think about building a nation, I know one thing for sure. This nation's not going to be built by the elite Negroes. It's not going to be built by the black people who are on TV, the ones who are teaching in the big white universities, the ones who have jobs working for white folks. Not because they're bad people, not because we should go and attack and beat them all up or nothing like that, but because they, number one, have never felt the pressure of marginalization that leads you to be creative about building solutions for yourself. They say, what is it? Necessity breeds. What do they say? The mother of invention or necessity is the mother of invention. That's what it is. Necessity breeds creativity. It makes you feel a little bit of the stress and desperation you feel when you say, "Oh man, we got to find a way to make a way," because white folks ain't hooking me up. But also, when things have been kind of made easy for you, as they were with integration, and that's why I think on MLK Day it's very important to kind of meditate on the truth of MLK and to be willing to challenge integration. Integration kind of made us weak. Integration made us a little sloppy. It made us into a bunch of affirmative action babies who don't know how to compete. You see, in a way, it makes me think about when they talk about going out into the woods and not feeding the bears. They say don't feed the bears because you feed them, they're not gonna be able to take care of themselves, right? So by doing what you think is best for that bear, you're actually killing the bear because if he is depending on you for food and he's gonna keep coming back begging you for food, and when it's time for him to go and hunt for food, he ain't gonna know what to do. He's gonna get his ass kicked by Mother Nature. Survival of the fittest. That's the ultimate law of all living things. And so when you talk about black people kind of being fed with integration and affirmative action, it killed our ability to be competitive. It shot us down, it shot us in the back. And so just like that bear, we don't know how to go kill what we eat. We don't know how to go fight for what we want. We come back begging. Massa, please, I need the jobs, Massa. I don't know what I'm gonna do if y'all don't hire me and give me an opportunity. Even when people talk about opportunity, they don't even really know what opportunity really is. They talk about opportunity like opportunity is something somebody gives you. Well, all you got to do is give me an opportunity. If they would just give more minorities and more opportunities, blah 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 blah. People that talk like that, unfortunately, I'm not making fun of them because I used to do the same thing. People who talk that way about give me an opportunity, they don't understand what opportunity is. Opportunity is not something that someone simply gives you all the time. Opportunity is something that you can also create. In order for somebody to give you an opportunity, somebody has to make that opportunity. It's like food. In order for me to give you food, somebody got to grow that food and cook that food. And if you're being fed by your enemy, Remember, we depend on racists, we depend on white supremacists to feed our children, which makes us the most vulnerable group of people on this planet. When somebody's just feeding you opportunity, then and you never take the time to learn how where those opportunities come from and how to create them on your own, you become incredibly vulnerable. So as we reflect on Dr. King's life and Dr. King's legacy, and we reflect on the civil rights struggle and integration, I think it's very important to give credit where it's due. There were a lot of people who took a lot of risks and fought for certain, liberties that we did not have at the time. They did it was the right fight at the right time. But we must also be openly willing to question what integration did for us. What did the civil rights struggle really do for us? Where did it make us stronger, and where did it make us weaker? Where are we better off? Where are we worse off? Because if you get into this, this hero worship, or you're letting white folks define how you celebrate Dr. King, you're gonna be lost. You're gonna be lost. You're gonna be just like them Negroes I saw at Cal State Long Beach this weekend. I was up there with Farrakhan, and them little Negroes. Some of them Negroes was acting like straight up niggas with Farrakhan in the building. Just niggerosity everywhere. And a lot of it was because there was a segment of people that didn't want the minister there. Most of the students wanted him there. The black students wanted him there. Brother Salih, who runs the organization there, he wanted the minister there. He was very supportive, and I applaud them, because despite the opposition they were getting from the university, they pushed through. They made it happen. And but the problem was, and this is what has kept true leaders like Farrakhan from addressing black people in a mass scale, is that the university, again run by white liberals and Jews, they pretty much don't want men like Farrakhan addressing their Negroes. They own those Negroes. They're like, these are our Negroes. We don't want you talking to our Negroes. And I understand that, because that's why a lot of public schools that are 80-90% black don't want black men like me talking to the black boys, even though I can control the black boys and I can manage them and I can uplift them in ways that those white women from the suburbs never could. Even though I could, they're like, we don't want you around our niggas. And so basically, Cal State Long Beach was there were some people in there that were giving Farrakhan opposition because he does not have a perspective that is in alignment with the gay rights agenda. I think it's a really unfortunate conversation that we have to have, because I've actually spoken up extensively on the real homophobia in the black community. I think that we don't show love to our gay brothers and sisters, which is why you see so much dysfunctional, self-destructive behavior from some of our young men. You go down to Atlanta, you see a lot of boys who were rejected by their families, disowned by relatives, and things like that, with these Bible-thumping Negroes telling them they all gonna go to hell and you're worthless because you're gay. I don't approve of any of that. That's wrong. But what I also don't approve of is fascist behavior. Fascist meaning suppressive behavior of anybody who disagrees with you, which is what I see from the far left. It's interesting, because there was a time where liberals were supposed to be the ones who believed in free speech, who believed in supporting American liberties, who believed in giving everybody a voice. But they don't do that anymore. What they do is they say, this is what we believe, and if you disagree, we're gonna shut your ass down. You can't even talk. Because we don't think that what you're saying is right, we're not even gonna listen to you. And some black people are bought into this, because y'all know y'all been trained to worship the Democrats. Y'all go check a racist Republican in a minute. Got a whole lot of Negroes that'll pull out a bet against Donald Trump, but won't say jack shit, excuse my French, won't say a damn thing about all them racists that are in the Democratic Party. Miss Hillary has done more destruction to the black community than Donald Trump ever could. But y'all gonna go worship Miss Hillary, but y'all gonna get all violent, all crazy and militant when it comes to Donald Trump. I ain't got no respect for that. I don't get no respect for that. So basically, when I went to Cal State Long Beach, there were people there, some Negroes who've been pretty much indoctrinated into the liberal agenda, and they pretty much did everything they could to attack Farrakhan. They didn't want him speaking. When Farrakhan was talking, dozens of students were getting up, walking out of the room, and doing everything they could to be incredibly disrespectful. And even despite all of this, the members of the Nation of Islam, they took the high road. They were incredibly respectful to everyone. The minister was respectful to those who disagreed. When they asked him about it in media, he was respectful to those who disagreed with him. I've seen the minister invite people that hated him to sit down at his table, and he fed them. He treated them like royalty. He always gave them respect, even when they disagreed. But unfortunately, that decency wasn't shared by those who didn't want him on their campus. They didn't even want him to talk. And so to me, I think it speaks to, it really is sort of a telling example of how of the extreme lack of decency that's been sort of taught, to some of these young Negroes going to these white universities. I'm not saying the white schools are all bad. I went to one. I went to Ohio State. I went through that same system. But I can tell you that what's unfortunate is that these kids who are indoctrinated into, the Democratic Party, into, the liberal ideals or whatever, and they put liberalism above blackness. What's happening is these universities who've kidnapped their mindset have pretty much told them that because you're one of us now, and because you got white money and white power behind you, and because you think that somehow you don't have to listen to anybody who disagrees with you, we want you to dismantle and destroy and disrespect every black leader, every real black leader like Farrakhan in your community, even though Farrakhan was fighting, he was fighting against the white folks when they were trying to kill your damn parents. So the least you can do, in my opinion, is if you disagree with him, that's cool. But don't be disrespectful. Don't take a person who's been fighting for you for 60 years and act like he ain't nothing because you got a new white daddy, you sucking on the white man's titty, and you think that he's gonna hook you up. Because I guess what? At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, they're gonna set the agenda, and you will always be their nigga. Straight up. You might be part of their team, but you're gonna be in the back of the bus. But you want a fancy bus, but you in the back. Make no mistake about it, you are in the back of the bus. If you don't believe me, go in there and go talk to liberals and try to bring some real black issues to the table and see what they say. Bring reparations to the table and watch how quickly they tell you that reparations aren't quite feasible, and we really just believe in helping all poverty. We should just help all the poor, and we got to solve poverty and the illegal immigration issue. We got that's more important. I mean, all people are discriminated against. I mean, I'm Irish, by God, and look at what we went through. And I was when my uncle he's Jewish, and when he was growing up, there was discrimination against him too. They're going to water down what you go through as a black person, what your people have gone through, the rape, castration, murder, extensive homicide, terrorism, 400-year Holocaust that your family's gone through. They're gonna minimize that, water it down like it's not a big deal, and pretty much throw you in the bucket with everybody who's not a white man. That's what they do. That's what they call trickle down liberalism, where they will align with you, they will integrate with you, but the integration is on their terms. They are bringing you in so you can extend and strengthen their power base, while at the same time make sure that you're on the bus, but you're not driving the bus. You give them power, but they give no power to you. So, personally, I was offended for the minister. I think that they should be trained on decency. They should be trained on theoretically what's supposed to be American behavior, which is to give everyone a right to speak. You ain't got to agree with everybody, but I'm gonna tell you what, if you ever get to the point where you don't listen to people who disagree with you, then you're turning yourself into an idiot. I was gonna say an effing idiot, but I'm gonna try not to cuss today. You're turning yourself into an idiot. Anybody who doesn't listen to those who disagree is going to be stupid, because all they're going to do is listen to people who talk like them, and then next thing you know, you're going to be tempted to dehumanize those who disagree with you. That's what the liberals are doing right now. That's what the LGBT faction is doing. That's what the feminists are doing. What they do is they dehumanize and pretty much write off anybody who disagrees with them as a complete idiot. They won't even hear out the argument. They'll say, well, anybody who doesn't think this is just stupid. Anybody who doesn't think this is crazy. Well, I don't do that. I listen, Trump supporters, I don't agree with them, but I want to know, why do you support Donald Trump? What matters to you? I don't write them off all as idiots and racists. I know a lot of people, I know a lot of black people who voted for Donald Trump. I don't agree with them, but that don't make them coons to me. I need to know. I make my coon verdict after I hear your explanation. It's just like dating a white woman, right? I don't date white women. It's not something I would ever do. I wouldn't marry a white woman because I love black women. I respect the black family, but it's fine. It is what it is. But if you're with a white woman and you say, well, I met Missy and she was amazing and she treated me well and I love her and Missy's a good person and I meet Missy and I like her, then I'm going to say, great, this is a beautiful relationship. But if you say some dumb shit like, well, you know, I don't date black women because, you know, the sisters, they just stupid, and white women treat men better than black women do. I'm not gonna. I write you off as a person who has a mental illness. You have a dysfunction that has not been addressed, and that's a problem for me. And so I think at the end of the day, my point is that if you want to be intelligent, you know, again, I'm not saying I'm the smartest person in the world. I'm not. But if you really want to grow as a person, talk to people who disagree with you. I mean, talk to people who challenge your thinking. Don't sit around and just listen to people who are going to confirm everything you already believe. That's not going to help you grow. You're going to be the same damn person that you always have been. You're going to, you know, and it's going to make you look silly eventually. By the way, if you're on social media, please hit the share button. Please invite your Twitter followers in, or whatever the case may be, so other people can join the conversation. If you're on Facebook, please hit the share button to your Facebook page. Our number one goal is to use technology to build independent Black-owned media such that we are able to communicate with each other without getting a white man's permission. One of my pieces of advice I gave to the students out in California is I said, you know what, it was the African Black Coalition. And I said, and a brother named Salih Muhammad was running the organization. So I was so impressed with this young man, such a brilliant young leader. And my advice to them was that, look, if you're trying to do things like this and bring in people like Farrakhan or myself or Zaza Ali, you need to make sure that you don't get to the point where you depend on these white folks to pay your bills, because white folks are never going to pay for true, meaningful Black liberation. White folks are only trained to pay for Black indoctrination. And it makes sense. I mean, why would they pay you to pursue your agenda if it conflicts with their agenda? Their agenda is white supremacy. Let's be clear. Even white folks who are your friends, they're committed to white supremacy. They're like, hey, because think about it, there's two strands of white Americans in terms of large groups. I'm not talking about individuals or large groups. There's the white people who kind of hate you and believe they're superior to you, and they're the white people who don't dislike you as much, who feel that they're superior to you. But at the end of the day, they all feel they're superior. Why? Well, does it make them bad people? Well, I don't know. And let me explain why. Who doesn't want to protect their power? You know, if you come into my house and you're begging to come in my house because you don't know how to build your own, you ain't got no food, nowhere to live, and you beg to come into my house, there's two ways I can respond to you, right? Either I can say no, go away, right? In which case, what am I saying implicitly? I'm saying to you, this is my house. I make the decisions here. I make the rules. I don't want you in here, right? That would be the Republicans. The Republicans are like, this is our house. We running shit. Go away. But then I could take another approach. I could say, come on in. I'm going to feed you. You know, you can stay in the guest bedroom, right? But think about it. It's still my house, right? It's still mine. So everything I'm giving you, all the love that I'm giving you, all the whether it's respect or it's free food or the invitation I've extended to you, everything's conditional. It's conditional on the fact that you understand that this is my house. These are my rules. So if you come up in my house and you say, well, you know, I don't like these walls. We need to paint these walls purple. And we need to move this furniture around, and I need you to give me the master bedroom, and I need you to sleep in the basement. I'm going to be like, you need to get the hell up out of here. No, this is my house. This is Boyce supremacy up in here. And because you are trying to come into my house, you therefore have implicitly committed yourself to the idea of Boyce supremacy, because we know that we're in my house. We ain't in your house. When we're in your house, we'll do your supremacy. I'll be subordinate to you. But in my house, I run things. So that would be the white liberals. The white liberals are like, yes, come on in. We like it. We like it when you're here. We want you here. Here's some food. We got to eat first. We're going to eat first. But after we eat, you can eat. As long as there's enough food for everybody, you can eat. But when I get to the point where there's not enough food, and I got to choose between feeding you and your kids versus feeding my kids, who the hell do you think I'm going to feed first? Who are they going to feed first? So understand, white supremacy is everywhere, whichever direction you go. So whether you become a Republican, oh, you're committed to white supremacy. When you become a Democrat, oh, you're committing to white supremacy. So that's why I say I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. Do I want to go work in a white-owned corporation? No, because I'm committing to white supremacy, because that's their corporation, that's their organization, that's their house. So even if they promote me in their organization, I'm still in their house. So the only way, going back to the analogy of me letting you in my house or whatever, the only way you can really have some real equity and some real power up in that motherfucker is if you own your own damn house. You own your own damn house, then you can make the rules. Black people, you lost the ability to build your own house when you started believing that you could live good by moving in with somebody else. That's what you lost. That's what you lost. And so Dr. King, I'll tell you, he was a great man. He was a great man. But he, like a lot of young men, like myself, when I was in my 20s and early 30s, he was a little misguided. You know, he thought that, you know, as a Christian, that that whites could align themselves with Christian values and eventually learn to be decent human beings and treat other people with respect. Unfortunately, that's not true. As I talk about in the book, Black Labor, White Wealth, Christianity is one of the institutions that was utilized the most to indoctrinate white supremacy. So that white Christian ain't on the same page as the black Christian. They not they preaching to a whole they praying to a whole different God than you are. They even painted your Jesus white. Now, I'm not saying that Christianity is bad. This is not an indictment of all Christianity, but it is an indictment of Americanized Christianity. I will say that it is designed to create slave masters and slaves. Um, so Dr. King, as a young man, as a brilliant young man and a wonderful young leader, was not as mature as he would have been had he reached his 40s and 50s. I really believe that. Now, as a 45-year-old man who's older than Dr. King was when he died, I can relate to the fact that in his early 30s, he might have had some belief in America that he began to question toward his death. Dr. King, toward the end, started realizing, wait a minute, I'm messing with a nasty demon right here. I'm messing with some people that have really in their subconscious been trained over hundreds of years to hate me in ways that I can't even imagine. Most black people can't even imagine spewing that kind of hatred on other people that white folks were trained to spew on us. We can't. I mean, think about this. Think about this. You had people in the 1940s and 30s that could look at a little child, a black child that they never met, and literally want to kill that child. I mean, what kind of cultural sickness do you have to breed to make people think that that is normal behavior, right? That's a level of sickness that black people can't identify with. We're not that kind of people. So Dr. King, toward the end of his life, began to question the whole integration idea. He began to look and really think about what power really means in America. That power was not going to be pursued through civil rights. It was going to be pursued through silver rights. It was going to be pursued through economic, not even economic equality, economic competitiveness. Those are two different things, right? So, at the end of the day, if we're talking about Dr. King, we got to talk about the real Dr. King. And I think that talking about Dr. King now is an opportunity for us to really kind of look at black leadership and other leadership and kind of purge out of our system the things that are designed to poison us. Because unfortunately, what happens with you as a black person is that your conditioning, your brainwashing starts from birth. So it's deep. It's deeply insidious. It's so deep inside of your soul that you don't even know what's there. And so when I was at this event with the minister, I was real concerned with what I saw. As I move on, I want to remind you, if you're interested in joining any of our programs in the Black Business School, we teach a lot of great stuff. We have a new stock market class that everybody loves on how to invest in the stock market. I'm really big on us utilizing various investment options as ways to build black wealth for the next generation. So if you're interested in signing up for any of our programs, you can sign up at a discount at blackfinancialliteracy.com. That's blackfinancialliteracy.com. The stock market class is right below the video, and you can get 30% off the program now and forever. Also, we have our financial flashcards for children, which you can check out at financialflashcards.com. That's financialflashcards.com. And these are cards that allow you to drill your children on wealth building concepts so that they're ready to compete. Because understand this, Donald Trump has a son. His son's name is Barron. And I really thought that was really interesting that he named his son Barron, because what it reflects is that he understands the power of the subconscious in how you name your children. Barron means a type of royalty. Barron means you're a leader, right? And so basically what he's saying to Barron is, I'm the king, and you're going to be the king after I'm gone. And so what's going to happen is 50 years from now, there's going to be another fight. It's going to be another battle. And the battle is going to be between Barron and your child. Barron's going to be maybe he's going to be running for president in the year 2000 and 2062. And your child is going to be dealing with the Barons of the world. And the question is your child going to be ready to compete? Because I'm going to tell you what Barron's going to have. Barron's going to have some capital that his daddy left him, an inheritance. He's going to have a lot of economic knowledge. He's never going to be trained to go work for other people. Many of y'all are taught to teach your kids how to go work for other people. That's why you send them to college. Well, if you go to college and you work hard, you can get you a good job. I don't teach my kids to go get jobs. I don't care about my kids getting jobs. Why would I send my child to go work for somebody who hates her? Why would I send my son David to go work for somebody who's going to make him feel like less than a man? In America, this country is designed to keep black men as little boys. I don't want my son to be a little boy. He's going to be a grown-ass man. We had that conversation yesterday. I said, you're going to be successful at everything you do in life because you are a king. You are a winner. You are brilliant. You are capable. You can overcome anything and anybody. It's going to be hard, but if you fight hard enough, you can win. So that's what I'm doing, because you have to prepare your children to compete with the Baron Trumps of the world, because the battle's going to happen. And as Sun Tzu said in The Art of War, the battle is won before the battle even begins. Battles are won before they begin. So the battle's coming, 2062, whatever. Baron Trump's going to be an older man, middle age. He's going to be trying to accumulate wealth and power, or maintain his wealth and power. And the question is your child going to be able to stand up to him as a man and compete, or a woman, or whatever? Or is your child going to be begging Baron for a job? Because he's going to be just as arrogant as his daddy. Write that down right now. He's going to be just as arrogant as his father. One thing, I have an announcement I want to share with you guys. I haven't told anybody this. I just made the deal yesterday. But and you guys know I've told you about Simmons College of Kentucky, the 107th HBCU in this country. We're going to hold the All Black National Convention there on that campus, which takes place September 29th through October 1st. So mark it on your calendar. I hope you'll come to the All Black National Convention. It's going to be the theme of the convention is going to be reparations. We're going to talk about reparations. Got lots of panels on reparations, what that looks like, how to fight for it, etc. Also, I spoke with the president of Simmons College, Kevin Cosby, yesterday, and we made an agreement that I'm going to join the faculty of Simmons College, and we're also going to create the Dr. Boyce Watkins Economic Empowerment Institute at Simmons College in Kentucky. So I'll keep you guys posted on how it works. You guys are the first group of people I have told about this anywhere. But we're beginning work on this in the very near future. So I've always wanted to teach at an HBCU. That's always been something I've always wanted to do. The problem for me has been that so many HBCUs are so backwards. The bureaucracy is so ridiculous. The universities, they're run by a lot of people who aren't black. I interviewed at one HBCU one time, and I'll never forget when they told me that they did not have one single African American male professor in the entire business school. I said, you are teaching all these African American men and women. How in the hell do you not have one single African American male faculty member in the entire business school, but yet you've got 10 people from China, 12 people from India? I don't understand that. That's kind of the insanity that the racial hijacking has created. We are an occupied people. We are imperialized, and so that's one of the things that led to me not wanting to work for any of the HBCUs. I also didn't want to work for the white universities because what my problem was with many of the predominantly white universities is that they don't respect what I do. They don't respect my work because they think, oh, well, if you're working with a bunch of black people, then it doesn't matter. Working with 20 white folks is more important to them than influencing 20,000 black people. That's because you've been always seen as less than human. And so when I would go to the white universities, I haven't even put in a job. I haven't put in a job application over a decade. I don't even remember how to do it, to be honest with you. I don't want to work for anybody. And the thing was, though, when I did talk to them about working with them, they would always kind of treat me like a little black boy who should be happy that they're giving me an opportunity. They wouldn't, and my problem is, I'm sorry, but once you've convinced yourself and been convinced by your community that you are a king, it's hard for you to go become somebody's court jester. It's hard for you to become somebody's sidekick. And so my feeling is I'm a king, and I'm ready to fight for what it takes to be a king. My community loves me. I'm a king for them. They are kings and queens with me, and this is our sovereign territory, and this is where we have respect. I don't care if we ain't got two nickels to rub together. We've got our dignity, damn it, and dignity is worth far more than any amount of money anybody can ever give you. And so my feeling is, no, I'm not your little boy. I'm not happy to get a little job at USC or the University of Texas and whatever and get you to acknowledge me. I don't need your acknowledgement. I don't need your validation. You could offer, and I'm not kidding with you. I'm not joking with you when I say this. I could get a call tomorrow with an offer to become president at Harvard University, and the conversation would end in about 5 minutes, and I would say, "Thank you very much. I'm honored. I appreciate the opportunity, but I can't do that because I have more important work to do." Because in my mind, and this is something I think we should consider as part of the doctrine of Black excellence in America, in my mind, if the work that I'm doing is not directly influencing Black people and help in building the Black community, then it's worthless. Absolutely worthless. So you go out and you're working for white folks and you're doing stuff for them and you're doing the greatest work in the world for them, that's worthless. No, that's not a breakthrough. I'm sorry. I'm not going to celebrate the fact that you're the first Negro to get some job at some company. I'm sorry. That's not that. What value does that have for the masses? How do the masses of Black people benefit from what you're doing? Oh, well, I'm opening doors. Why? Why are those doors so important? Why are those doors to the white man's business more important than the doors to your own people? Why are those doors matter? Why are you working so hard to be next to him? What is so great about him? Why do you consider it progress when you're closer to these people who have spent hundreds of years hating your guts? Why are you so quick to forgive them? And so I mean, think about this. You're literally sitting next to people who celebrate those who raped and murdered your ancestors and cut their balls off. Why in the hell are you so mentally ill that you think that it's progress to be sitting next to these people that come from a demonic lineage? I'm not talking about all white folks. I'm talking about those who celebrate white supremacist organizations. Remember, white supremacy didn't come out of nowhere. White supremacy was built on extreme terrorism. White supremacy was built on a kind of physical and psychological and economic and social bullying that really led to a lot of pain and trauma for your ancestors. I mean, you don't get, usually when wars are fought, you don't gain massive amounts of territory or massive amounts of power without hurting a lot of people in the process. There's always a messy fight to create the kind of unity that leads to subordination of one group of people beneath another. Right? When China was unified, when they say that so and so was the first leader to unify China, what that really means is that he went to the villages that didn't go along with the agenda and he just pretty much raped, murdered, and pillaged those villages until they submitted to their superiority, to their supremacy. So in order to get white supremacy to sort of have a very peaceful dominance over our culture, there had to be a lot of people hurt in the process. So why do you think that it's progress for you to be sitting next to people who celebrate that? That's not progress. You hustling backwards. You running backward. You running south, and you think it's north. So at the end of the day, if you want to know why I was happy to make the partnership with Simmons College, it was because the president, Dr. Kevin Cosby, he gets me. He gets what I'm saying. He understands the mission. He understands Black excellence. He understands the importance of institution building. And what I want to do with the Dr. Boyce Watkins Economic Empowerment Institute at Simmons is I want to do what Dr. Claude Anderson says in his book, Black Labor, White Wealth, and Others, is we need systems and structures that will mass produce the kinds of Black people we need that are ready to build a nation, that are ready to compete with the world, that are well versed in Black history. They know who they are. They didn't learn that George Washington was their friend. No, George Washington was Adolf Hitler for Black people because he wanted to enslave your ancestors and rape and murder them and kill them. And he passed a law before he died that basically said that every child born from a escaped slave is a slave until he's dead. He's your Adolf Hitler. He's not your hero. Stop believing that. So they're well versed in Black history. They're well versed in Black economics at the highest levels. They know how to build. They know how to own. They know how to accumulate. They don't know how to go beg. They're not trained to just go always work for other people. They're not trained to give away their very best to people who hate them. They're also educated by Black people. That's where you lose the battle, is that you are taking your seed and you're sending your seed away to be indoctrinated by the people who've kidnapped you psychologically for the last 400 years. We want to put an end to that. So I've got big plans in place. I love the fact that we're at Simmons now, because the Black Business School now will have a physical manifestation. Everything that we talk about, we've got 29,634 students in the Black Business School now. And now we have a physical location that represents what the business school is all about. So we're going to incorporate not just academic programs, economic incubators. We're also even going to shoot some of our films on the campus. He's been very gracious in that regard, and I'm really excited about it. So big shout out to Simmons College of Kentucky. It is the place that I feel like I belong, because number one is Louisville, Kentucky is my hometown. Number two is the birthplace of the great Muhammad Ali. And number three, the fact that the school was built by former slaves, it really embodies what I'm trying to explain to you as Black people, that no matter how little you have, you can still be wealthy in your mind, wealthy in your vision. See, we're not poor financially. We are poor spiritually. We are broke psychologically. And if you have a lot of money in the world, or all the money in the world, and you are broken and broke psychologically, meaning you have minute, meaningless visions for yourself, then you're going to end up throwing away the best that you have. You're going to end up giving all your money away. So for Black people, we must deal with the fact that we are broke, in a lot of ways, not financially. In fact, we have more. Brother Nuri Muhammad, one of Minister Farrakhan's students, was on the panel in California, and he made a great. He was breaking it down, that, and I loved it, that we have more wealth than most nations on this earth. Y'all have heard me say that, and I was so happy to hear him say that. And that's why I love the Nation of Islam. I love the Nation of Islam, because when I'm talking this stuff, they're the only ones. They're one of the few groups, them and the real conscious community. I'm not talking about the con artists in the community. We know that we got a few of those, but most of the people in the conscious community who are righteous, who are trying to do great things, they get it, and the Nation of Islam gets it. And that's why I love both of those groups the most, because the other Black people that I went to school with, and the ones that I taught on the faculty with, and the Negroes with 9-to-5 jobs, we have a whole lot of brainwashing that we got to sort of work through, where they sort of get afraid because they think it's too radical. Just saying the word Black, or being pro-Black, they're just scared of that. I'm like, why are you scared to be pro-Black? What is it about being pro-Black that is inherently harmful or negative to anybody? It's not harmful or negative to anybody, but you're scared of it because you're bullied, because you've been terrorized, because people are scaring you into running away from the truth. So you don't tell the truth. You tell a lie. You commit yourself to the lie of white supremacy. All right. So anyway, don't forget, if you're interested in our programs, you can go to blackfinancialliteracy.com. That's blackfinancialliteracy.com. If you want a free e-copy of my book, It Takes a Village to Raise the Bar, you can go to drboycewatkins.net. That's drboycewatkins.net.